Steve in the air. Welcome to Pink Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is Gareth Blackler, and joining me is James Barron.
Hello, it's me, James Barron. Hi. What's up? How's it going?
James has written little staccato notes above every word.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a staccato man today. I'm excited.
Oh.
We got a sweet film that we watched.
Yes,
Gareth. That's a good
one of
one.
my absolute favourite movies.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson, released on Christmas Day 2004.
Holy shit! Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
The Life
Blockbuster.
Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that the full title? Yeah, with Steve
Yes.
Zissou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it's his longest title.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm looking at them written down by a long shot.
Yeah. It's kind of a subtitle, right? I've always just referred to it as the Life Aquatic to save time, I guess.
Yeah, same.
But-
We're very busy people.
Oh, it's just I don't have time to just be chatting away about movie titles, Gareth. I've got to be listening. I've got so much Pink Floyd to listen to. It's piled up on my plate. You know?
It does feel like that, eh?
Yeah. So it's your favorite movie, one of your favorites of all time, Gareth.
I believe so, yeah. I watched this... Well, actually... So this came out, 2004. I think I was very aware of it in 2005 because there was a channel on New Zealand Sky TV that would show every channel in a little box.
Oh wow! Like the mosaic view, right? Of
Yeah,
Sky-
there was a mosaic view. And then there was a bigger box that showed trailers for movies that you could pay extra to watch.
Cunning.
And one of them was always The Life Aquatic, so you'd watch the trailer for that. So I'd seen the trailer so many times. And then I finally saw the movie like 5 years later. I
do love briefly the image of you just watching the mosaic view of Sky TV, like attempting to watch all of TV at once, like a megalomaniac genius.
Yeah.
That's so good. Anyway,
I clearly knew I was so important that I had to watch everything. Oh, that's a really good point.
if it flies in front of my eyes, I've digested
Yeah.
it. You know, yeah.
That probably sums up like my brain a little too well.
That's good. It's
A whole lot of nothing going on.
Oh, no, it's an incredibly useful skill to have. Fun fact about Gareth, he has a near, photographic memory for dates and people's names and faces and things like that. You can just remember exactly what he's doing on any given date. It's wild. It's a really cool thing.
Oh, thank you. That is true and a little strange, but yeah.
Oh, it's very useful. I wish I had that power. You know?
I think it grew from, I wasn't getting invited to a lot of parties and stuff.
Oh.
And then in high school. And then when I was, I'd always remember, what weekend that was. And then I'd be able to work backwards from that. That happened on the Tuesday near that party. Or 2 weeks around that party.
Right.
And then, then I guess as my life got more interesting, I had more hats, more places to hang those date hats, and it was a little easier.
That's good. More signposts for you to pass by on your calendar map. That's great.
Yeah, so thus the last year in the world has been a little tougher for that because a lot of days are a lot more similar.
I think that's true of many people in that the last year kind of flew by and that it was all very much the same. So, no reason for that. But But yeah, I'm glad that this is one of your favorite movies, and I'm hyped to see what you have to say about it. I didn't know that when I picked it, but yeah, absolutely agree. This is a bloody good film. I don't know if it's in my favorites, but it is. It's definitely a movie I love. It's an enjoyable one. And hyped
it's so Wes Anderson, yet kind of not. It carves the space right down the middle of the two Wes Andersons, where you've got the kind of very pretty, beautiful, whimsical Wes Anderson, and the kind of depressing, kind of ugly Wes Anderson that
Too true.
yeah.
Him
and I think that's sorry.
Oh, he like delving into like the human condition and stuff like that, which he likes to do in his films. Oh, and also like relationships, especially like family relationships, are explored in this
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, he loves to do that, and yeah, I'd say that's definitely the other side. He loves exploring character relationships and also makes very pretty scenes. Big
Yeah.
fan.
And I think the power to this movie, and it's probably the most obvious, is it's such a beautiful world he's made, but
Yeah.
like the characters are not enjoying it. They feel like they don't suit it.
Too
And
true.
I think like a lot of people, I think, like, you know, the Instagram accounts of like accidental Wes Anderson or like real life Wes Anderson, where they show like a beautiful world and they're like, man, I wish I could live in this world. Like, so do the characters. They wish they could live in this beauty.
Yeah.
These, like, especially this movie, the stop motion animals. There's
Yeah.
like a beautiful boat, like whimsically divided. Yeah. It's so summed up in Royal Tenenbaums, which came out before this.
Yeah.
Where Owen Wilson's character says, "I always wished I was a Tenenbaum," and Royal Tenenbaum himself says, "Me too." And it's like,
Yeah.
yes, that is the Wes Anderson secret.
Yeah, man. That's a great take, honestly.
Yeah.
That's ingenious. I feel like that's like a short video essay that you've put together for us. That's a beautiful, beautiful concept. Nice.
Hit me up, Cold Popture.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a beautiful, weird kind of sad feeling I get when I watch a Wes Anderson movie and then go to bed. Or if I listen to that song, Where Do You Go To My Lovely, which is in Darjeeling Limited, a little bit. Like, that always puts me in the exact same mood of just like, the world is so pretty, yet so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely going for like a mildly melancholic but also whimsical feeling in most of his movies. I think that's the through line, right? Through all of his
Heck yeah.
all of his works. Do we want to delve into our tier lists now of everything he's ever done, or should we save that?
No, let's do it. This is the official Pink Floyd host rankings of Wes Anderson.
Okay.
James, would you like to go first?
All right. So, yeah, I told you off mic that I am a disgraceful failure of a man.
Whoa. Yeah, but what's that got to do with the show?
Unrelated. Yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. But
No, you're great.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of Wes Anderson's films. Cue stock booing and gnashing of teeth. I've seen half. I've seen 4 out of 5 of his 4 out of 9 of his released films that he directed. And so I have ranked those, but I opted not to rank ones that I hadn't seen.
Go on. Just like based on what you assume.
In a wild move by me.
Yeah.
Just from like trailers that I've seen, surely. So the ones I have seen in...
Oh, what ones haven't you seen first?
Okay, I haven't seen, in release order, I haven't seen Bottle Rocket, Rushmore. Haven't seen either of them.
Whoa.
I haven't seen Darjeeling Limited, which is one you mentioned just before. Haven't seen Moonrise Kingdom, which is some people's like absolute favorites.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Isle of Dogs either. And obviously I haven't seen The French Dispatch, which hasn't been released yet. It comes out July 2021. So haven't seen that, but I thought I'd include it. So 4 out of 10 as a ranking for me on the Wes Anderson front. Just also as a man, as a person, just give me a 4 out of 10. I'll take it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the ones should I do the ones I have seen in terms of...
Yeah.
I'll go from the bottom up out of the ones I have seen. So least favorite.
Okay, yeah.
Proviso for this, I like all these films. I really think they're all great, and ranking them was actually kind of tough, even though there were only 4. So it was difficult.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So number 4, Fantastic Mr. Fox is the lowest on my rank. It's a really good movie and very stylish, but it's like, I don't know, it being a like more kid focused film, I felt like I wasn't as much the target audience, and so I found it harder to relate to. But I don't know, maybe if I saw it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Number 3 is The Life Aquatic.
Oh yeah.
The one that we're doing now. Number 2, Grand Budapest, which I saw in the cinema on release. That's the only one I've seen on release, and I really enjoyed. And
Yeah.
number one, Royal Tenenbaums, which
Interesting.
I really like the Royal Tenenbaums. Thoroughly enjoy that. Just all the like character stuff going on in that movie. I really enjoy.
I feel like we've seen the Royal Tenenbaums together, right?
Have we?
No. Oh, okay. So this was in the flat that we lived in together. This was before you moved in.
Okay.
We watched the Royal Tenenbaums with these two backpackers from, I think one was from Sweden and one's from Germany.
Cool.
And I'd rented the Royal Tenenbaums on DVD years before and watched it alone and was just like devastated by that movie.
Yeah.
Then I watched it with a group of people and we all laughed at the jokes and I was like, oh, this movie's funny.
Yeah.
Which is again the Wes Anderson secret, but like, yeah. So thus, people are going to be angry at where Royal Tenenbaums probably sits in my list because of that discrepancy. That's the word I've messed up on the show before.
Discrepancy. Yeah. No, I think it's fine. Like again, a lot of these movies are the same way. Like Life Aquatic is also like very sad, but also very funny in parts. So like. I think that again, this is indicative of his style and that they run the gamut between comedy and drama, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone will be upset at our tier lists. They'll probably be upset at me not watching all of Wes Anderson's films. But, I've only got so much time in the day.
Exactly. The rest has to be Pink Floyd.
Yeah, basically. I got to pay homage at my shrine. All right, so...
All right.
Thoughts on my list, or
you're going to be surprised? A lot of ours fall into the same numbers.
Oh wow!
The difference being that I'm ranking 9 movies and you're ranking 4.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Right.
I am interested
but
to see.
Good list.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so my top 10 Wes at the moment. It was also really tough, and I'm probably going to regret this being permanently recorded.
Yeah.
Number 10. I keep saying 10, but there's 9.
Number 10 is French Dispatch. We haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay. Number 9 is Isle of Dogs.
Yeah.
I would say, though, after ranking that, I immediately questioned myself. I'll say that movie it's his first swing and, in my regard, miss. It's so different to his other films.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good, and I'm excited to see him try out other things and such. I just think there was probably a little too much going on in this movie, and I think the way the Japanese characters were treated was a bit icky.
Off. Yeah.
But then I've read articles by people of Japanese descent who have argued that it's not. So I can't comment really, but yeah, I just remember watching it and that making me feel a bit weird, and then also. Yeah, it's just I wished it was a simpler movie, which I never wish.
No, that's fair. That's what I've heard about Isle of Dogs as well. So yeah, that's all good. I don't think you should regret any of these choices, Gareth.
Okay. So yeah, I have only seen Isle of Dogs once.
Yeah.
And number 8 is Darjeeling Limited, which I have seen 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah. The next one is Bottle Rocket.
Yep, his first film.
And yeah, I reckon. I might have to swap. Actually, I will swap Bottle Rocket and Darjeeling Limited.
Okay.
So, Darjeeling Limited, based only on. So when this was the first one of his I saw in cinema. The first one of his I saw at all. I went with my parents and some family friends, and everyone else fell asleep.
Oh man.
But Darjeeling Limited starts with this short film with one of the characters and with Natalie Portman playing the character's ex-girlfriend. And it's so beautiful, and it has "Where Do You Go to My Lovely" a lot in it. And it's, yeah, and I remember watching that, and then the credits roll for that, and then this whole movie starts.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think that was a really cool way to see it. So
yeah,
because of the Hotel Chevalier, I believe, should have double checked that. I'll slide up Darjeeling.
Okay.
Then Royal Tenenbaums.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, surprisingly low. Moonrise Kingdom.
Yep.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yep.
The Life Aquatic.
Yep.
Actually, these are all in your order. Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
And then Rushmore at number 1.
Rushmore number 1.
Yeah.
Why,
and
why did you put Rushmore at number 1? Because do you recommend that one? That's the one I should watch next and add to my collection?
Yes, for
Okay.
sure. I ummed and ahed over Grand Budapest and Rushmore. I think Grand Budapest... Actually, I've written it down, and Grand Budapest is at the top on my written down list, but then it was last minute.
Wow, you swapped them again.
Yeah.
Man. So that's how close it is.
Yeah, I think Grand Budapest Hotel is the best Wes Anderson film, but Rushmore is the best film directed by Wes Anderson.
That's how I feel about Grand Budapest Hotel as well, in that I think it's his most like cohesive and best film that he made. But in terms of like me liking the films in my personal ranking, I liked Royal Tenenbaums slightly more. But I would say that Grand Budapest is unequivocally his best film.
Yeah, and it's his most him.
Yeah.
But done successfully, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a solid list. I think that's
thank you.
Well ranked. And it is like so contentious. All these films are great, so
yeah, that's the thing.
There you go. But I'm glad we covered that off at the top of the show so that people know our deal. You know?
Yeah, because people don't like Life Aquatic very much.
Yeah, no,
Often
it's
people
like...
put that quite low.
Well, it's his highest budget film, and it's also, like one of his lowest rated ones, right? It was not well received when it came out. And I don't know why. Do you know why?
No, honestly. I think, the popular opinion is that he had like 3 in a row with Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and Tenenbaums.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took 2, like... oh man, that's a weird way to say it. He took 2 hits in that he made 2 misses with Life Aquatic and Darjeeling Limited, and then kind of came back with Fantastic Mr. Fox and Moonrise.
Yeah.
But to me, this movie's great. Like, I get that it's quite an ugly film, and like Steve Zissou sucks.
Yeah, but he's
as a dude.
That's why he's an interesting character, though, right?
Heck yeah. That's the point of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. I think maybe people found the whimsy crossed with the sadness like a little too jarring in this one.
Fair enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's what makes it a great film, honestly.
Ooh.
It's like,
Heck yeah.
One without the other would feel disingenuous. Like, if it was all whimsical all the time, wall to wall, like, I think that would be a trial to get through. And and if it didn't have any of that Wes Anderson flair behind it, and if it was just like a serious story about like a documentarian and his relationship with his estranged son, I feel like that would be a slog as well. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's like the combination of those things is what makes it successful. So maybe just folks weren't ready for it, but I feel like potentially now it's found more of an audience, right? People are liking this movie a lot more nowadays. Yeah. As we'll see.
And one way they can like it more is by syncing it with Pink Floyd's album The Dark Side of the Moon.
It's true. It's quite a switch up for this movie in particular, and that it has such a specific soundtrack choice. Throughout, like a lot of the music in this movie is Bowie. Compare of Pink Floyd in some ways. Yeah. Not many, but both musicians. It's like, and performed in various languages. I think multiple languages, or is it just Portuguese?
I think it's mostly Portuguese.
Okay. It's live performed in Portuguese, which is great. I think probably one of my favorite things about this movie, like probably number one, is this sweet like foreign language soundtrack of covers of Bowie. Honestly, it's awesome. I've no idea. It's so good. I've no idea how difficult this was to put together in a film. Right? Like he must have like directly contacted Bowie and been like, can I do this? Because it's so specific and so interesting. But it's great. Yeah, and it was Pele dos Santos is the character, and played by So Jorge, who So Jorge rewrote all the songs. Yeah, did all the arranging. Yeah, and obviously performs them. Yeah, it sums up what we were saying about like how it's such a beautiful world that the characters come enjoy, and that like all the stuff's happening in the frames, all this whimsy, these characters living such interesting lives. Like,
one of the greatest musicians of all time's songs are always playing, and yet the characters are still bummed out.
They never acknowledge it as well, which is great. It's just
that's such a good point.
He's like basically like a live performance to a movie, right? And he's just sort of sitting there in frame, playing along. And they often like walk past him and stuff and don't comment on him playing. But
that's such a good point.
Yeah, it's a sweet choice in the movie, you know. I really enjoy it, but of course we do not get to experience any of that.
And we also don't get to enjoy the score of this movie, which is amazing as well.
Yeah, also great.
Yeah. Mark Mothersbaugh, I think, from Devo, who also wrote the Rugrats theme.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Holy crap, that's a sweet fact about Devo. I didn't know they wrote the Rugrats theme.
That's awesome, eh? Just the singer, sorry, not the rest of Devo.
What a banger track though.
No.
What an accolade.
Yeah.
Rugrats theme, one of the easiest things to learn on piano, by the way. Almost all the notes are right next to each other. Like,
that's awesome. That's got to be intentional.
Yeah, it's very basic, and very fun. It's a great theme. I put it up there as like one of the best TV theme songs of all time, the Rugrats theme.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
If you've never heard the score to this movie, but you have heard Pink Floyd, I'll say that the score for this movie sounds like if On the Run by Pink Floyd had an estranged son.
Oh, that's a great take, yeah.
Yeah. So there's one part where I distinctly know the score because I listen to it all the time. And On the Run's playing, and I'm like, yeah, getting the same thing, don't worry.
Sweet. Perfect.
Yeah. But we'll get to that as we do when we... This is going to be... Like, the fans are going to love this one. Our haters are not, because there's so much happening in every shot here.
Oh my god.
And we're going to talk about it.
Yep. I'm going to do my best.
Yeah.
Like, if I said 2 episodes ago that Clue was a movie designed to kill me, and I feel like attempting to cover a Wes Anderson movie in the show is it's gonna be a challenge.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I don't know why I keep setting myself up for this, but
you're the one choosing this.
I crave content. I crave discourse, Gareth. It's the only way forward. Shall we just do it?
Let's crack in, yeah.
Let's dive down deep into the ocean depths.
Yes.
Life Aquatic. Life underwater. For my notes for this one, that's all I wrote. Life underwater.
That's your Jersey version.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my god. Starring only Mark Wahlberg. In every role.
Ooh.
my Mark Wahlberg life. Yeah, Life Underwater with Mark Wahlberg. That's what it's called. Speak to me, Gareth. Let's do it. We're getting... the movie starts out with an introduction to Steve Zissou's latest documentary part 1 of his 12th feature film.
I believe so, yeah. Also named The Life Aquatic.
Yes. And it begins with him introducing his crew members through a series of like incredibly dramatic shots. I really, in particular, love the safety expert's introduction where he just throws a stick of dynamite into the sea.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable. All narrated by old mate Bill Murray as Steve Zissou.
Yes. Oh, you haven't even mentioned that.
Yeah. Bill Murray, one of your favorites. He's back on the show. We can't... Is this the third Bill Murray movie we've covered, or maybe second? I don't know.
That's a good question.
He's definitely highly
not
featured.
The first.
Not the first. Yeah. He's been featured on the show multiple times, but he's back again and crushing it as per usual.
Fans will also notice this is the third. This is definitely the third heavily David Bowie'd film.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Bowie'd up.
Will that help? Bowie'd up.
the Bowie'd index is high in this particular film. I just love these intro shots. They're very stylish. We get introduced to like various characters, not all the characters, but all the current crew members. Do we want to go through them or no?
Oh, let's do it. I wrote it down and drew little diagrams because I was finding it hard to keep up with character names.
Thank you so much. Lay it on me.
Okay.
Work through it. Let's go.
So we have Steve.
Yep.
Steve, who I reckon doesn't listen to Pink Floyd.
Absolutely not.
No. We have Klaus.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe.
Amazing character. I love him so much, especially in my Pink Floyd watch.
Yes, so strong.
He's so, he loves Steve and Esteban so much.
Yeah, they're his, surrogate dads throughout the film, and it's very sweet.
We've got Vladimir Wolodarski, played by Australian actor Noah Taylor.
Yes.
Who, head scientist, I believe, but also writes the music.
Yeah, I love his role in that he, is constantly pointing out things on the, scope, and that's basically his role. Got a sick mustache.
He also, keep an eye on him, because he will be grooving in time to Pink Floyd in quite a few scenes.
Yeah, man.
So he definitely listens to Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Pele dos Santos, played by the aforementioned Jorge. Safety expert, also aforementioned.
Yeah.
And he's the guy singing all the David Bowie.
Yep, tossing the dynamite into the sea. Love him.
Vikram Ray, played by Boris
Ahluwalia,
who is the cameraman, right? And
the
actor is also a designer and florist, which I think is really cool.
Sick. What a combo. Holy moly.
Yeah. Anne-Marie Sakowitz, played by Robin Cohen, who is the script supervisor, named after the movie's actual script supervisor.
That's cool. Introduced fully nude as well.
Yeah. It's just sunbathing. Yeah. A character as well who I find I noticed a lot more in this watch.
Yeah, same. She sort of fades in on a usual watch, but on the Floyd watch, absolutely.
Yeah, so thus, I think she likes Pink Floyd.
Yeah, canon.
And I did not actually, I've let the team down, I promised a full diagram. There's two other members who I didn't write the names down.
They introduce, I think, Osiri here as well, who's played by Michael Gambon.
Oh, yes. Yes. Osiri Dracoleus, which is the most Harry Potter name because he's played by Dumbledore himself.
Yeah. Had the first Harry Potter film come out before this? I don't know.
Yeah. I think they were up to Goblet of Fire by this point, even.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah. He wasn't in Harry Potter until the third one anyway. So
that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, and also Eleanor is introduced. Eleanor Zissou.
Duh. Yeah.
His current wife,
yeah, Angelica Houston. This role was written for Angelica Houston, and she's so great in it.
Incomparable, Angelica Houston. Huge fan of her. She rules. Big fan of her. It's ever since seeing her in the Addams Family. Honestly.
Oh yeah.
As Morticia Addams, she fucking crushes that role and also is great in this. So, huge fan of her in this film.
She needs her own Wes Anderson movie. She needs a Life Aquatic where her character is the lead, I reckon. I reckon she should crush
Oh my god, it would be so good. Absolutely. Yeah. She is in The French Dispatch as well.
Oh, yes.
So,
yay. That's going to be a good time.
Yeah. So they're all introduced here, and we'll see more of them as we go on. Oh, there's also Esteban, who we haven't talked about.
Oh, yes. So this film is showing the demise of Esteban, eaten by a jaguar shark and setting off Steve's... not really Steve's arc, but definitely his mission, as he sees it.
His key motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we go into breathe basically as soon as we see this playing out. All the fluorescent pink snapper flying by in the background, insanely fast. Very Wes Anderson. I love it.
Yeah.
And then we don't see the shark at this point, but yes, we get on-screen captions for all of Steve's dialogue as he resurfaces, explaining that Esteban was eaten by the jaguar shark, and it's brutal. He's very upset. He's got the crazy eye as well.
Yeah,
which
I love also that the type and captions and stuff in his film look like they're like Wes Anderson, the yellow Futura, but they're slightly off. They're not quite as considered.
Right, yeah.
I think that's a really nice touch.
He pays really close attention to fonts and type and stuff. You can tell that Wes Anderson is a huge fan of not only typography, but like handwriting and things like that as well. It's much more evident in things like Grand Budapest Hotel, where it's like goes to great lengths to look at various papers and letters and all kinds of things like that. He's clearly fascinated by that and works it into his films where he can.
Yeah, and Moonrise Kingdom, I think it was Jennifer Hurst. If I've got the wrong designer, it's going to be real embarrassing. But she pretty much invented a new cursive font just for that movie.
Holy crap. That rules. How many movies can say that they invented a font, eh? Or
I know, right? Well, especially on purpose. Like, a lot of people have ripped off the Star Wars font.
True.
But yeah, Jessica Hirsch, I believe.
Hirsch, yeah.
Yeah. So good. Look at her Art of the Title interview.
Hell yeah.
Like fonts.
If you love fonts, if you liked seeing papyrus in Avatar.
Oh, papyrus.
Only joking. So poor Esteban is eaten, and then we get a little Q&A after the movie with the director himself on stage. With various people asking questions and stuff. And we get a fun, like, crash zoom to Owen Wilson's introduction, who's up, like, on the 5th floor of this theater, like, really high, and we zoom all the way in from the stage perspective, which I think is awesome. All the camera work and stuff is so considered as well in a Wes Anderson movie. It's something I really appreciate.
I did notice the camera moves a lot more in this one than you kind of expect for Wes Anderson.
Yes, he usually... You think about him keeping things solidly in frame or center frame, or a lot of symmetry and things like that. Very flat is his style to the frame. Like everything's... It reminds me a lot of like a theater stage play or something where he uses the frame to... as if it were a stage, putting actors on a stage a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And focuses your attention by putting things in center frame a lot. And but I feel like he also has great control over, camera movement and knows exactly when to use it. He's never using a shaky cam, or if he is, it's like while characters are running around on purpose. You know,
like I think to break that perfect world. If he does it.
Like during Steve's documentary, when after Esteban's eaten, there's a lot of shaky cam because it's like hastily put together, right, in a stressful scene. Yeah. So it's all like very well thought out, you know. But that's what I'd be asking about if I were in the audience for Steve. I'd be like, your camera movements, were they considered? And I'd get,
and he'll be like, "Shut up, my friend died."
Yeah. Pretty much. But yes, then there's like a little party afterwards, reception for the movie's release party.
Yeah. This movie, by the way, people hated. They did not enjoy.
No.
The in-character movie. The in-movie.
Yeah, they think he's like losing his touch, right? This is at the tail end of Steve's career, and he's put out a lot of material. And they think he's sort of lost it. And also they're kind of upset with him for having a character or like a person dying and just showing that. It's kind of messed up. But they're struggling to get funding as well. Michael Gambon's is the business man behind the scenes, sort of putting things together, making sure they're funding the next documentary. And they're struggling to get stuff going on in the background. It's something that I pay attention to, but probably no one else does.
It's all right. You're crunching the numbers. You're like, that would have been expensive, that shot.
Yeah, tricky. A lot of money spent on dynamite in this movie. So good.
We also meet Alistair Hennessy, who is played by Jeff Goldblum. And this movie has Bill Murray at his most Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Then it has Jeff Goldblum at his most Jeff Goldblum.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I think Jeff Goldblum at his most Jeff Goldblum is Jurassic Park, personally.
Oh, okay.
That's where I think he Goldblums it up the most. He does that insane laugh on the helicopter, where it's just like an extended sequence of him going like growling to himself. It's so good. And they just keep the whole thing. But yes, he is very Goldbloomy here, playing Steve's key rival and kind of antagonist. they have an antagonistic relationship, and that he's also the ex-husband of his current wife.
Yeah.
So that's how deep their rivalry goes. His whole deal is his whole aesthetic is great as well, and that everything's like very sterilized and almost stormtrooper like.
Yeah.
Like his ship is very like name brand bargain bin style looking, but also very expensive. Like his logo, for example, is just like the letter H, where the top two what do you even call them? The top two arms of the H are like a lighter color, and that's it. It's so so dull, you know. Everything on his ship that we see later is like in black and white, and it's very good. And yeah, he's just a nasty man. But yeah,
I love him.
I love him too. They pose for a picture together, and Steve's not thrilled about this. This night's going terrible for him. And that also we see him with Eleanor, and like she's very cold to him, and then he runs into a mistress of his, and they both like, don't make me talk to this person, and they both walk away at the same time, leaving Steve in the middle of the frame looking dire. It's not going well for him.
No, he does get offered a crayon ponyfish from Klaus's nephew.
Yes. Briefly, the crash sound in On the Run plays as the mistress and his wife walk away, either side of him. So
nice. That's good.
But yeah, the crayon ponyfish is this little animated seahorse, multicolored seahorse guy. Great stuff. The first indication that all the sea life in this, well, most of the sea life, all the sea life in this is like animated and stop motion-y, which is pretty cool looking.
So cool. The stop motion was done by Henry Selick of Coraline and Nightmare Before Christmas fame.
Oh wow, sweet.
Yeah.
It goes to show the quality, because that's like well impressive accolade. Nice. Yeah. He's got to sign a bunch of autographs for like this old man who never comes back. It's just like, I think this is just to go through that he's released a lot of different movies and is also a bastard to his fans.
This old man, though, getting him to sign every poster, one of which has him running along with a jaguar, which I really liked. Like, that should be a Pink Floyd album cover.
Totally.
Like, he's clearly like gonna just sell these all on eBay, and even says, when Steve's like, forge the rest, he's like, I could have done that at home.
I mean, fair play. Finally, final stage of this, paparazzi man out in the crowd insults Steve, basically saying, oh, who are you gonna kill off next in your film? And it's sort of the final straw for Steve, and he like runs over and socks this guy in the mouth. Ruthless. This sort of breaks the little bag that the ponyfish was in, and then he puts it in a little wine glass and holds it above his head, which I really like that visual at the top of the film.
Yeah, same.
Him walking around with this wine glass. This is sort of echoed at the end of the movie as well, which I enjoyed. And then we cut to the good vibes of like everyone on the boat. They're all wearing their like, I do like also at the premiere, many of the sailors are wearing their signature red hats. My
gosh. The amount of red hats I've bought over the years to match this movie and like lost.
Oh no, you lost all your red hats?
Pretty much. I've bought like at least 3 that I have no idea where they are.
Yeah, man.
And I actually am looking at one right now, though, that a new one that I'm going to like stick around with.
Sweet.
Until I lose it again.
Keep it firmly on your head.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was wearing it when we started recording, but it is summer and I am locked in a cupboard to record this. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best vibe wearing a big woolly hat.
No.
By the end of these podcast sessions, I'm usually like sweltering, so I think it's probably a good call there on your part. Even though it would be on brand, it would be on theme, but yeah. The sacrifices we make for you listeners. So they all return to the boat to continue the party, basically, post-premiere, and to sort out the next voyage. yeah, there's another brief like exchange where they're talking about how the ship needs repairs and they need to fund the next trip and they don't know if that's going to happen, etc. And then Ned appears on the boat. Our boy Owen Wilson returns in full Air Force regalia or pilot regalia. And introduces himself over time solo here as Steve's son, possibly.
Yeah.
From
no bones about it in that intro.
Yeah. From 30 years ago, he had a relationship with Ned's mother and has a son, apparently.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay. Steve's sort of caught off guard by this and like goes away and then comes back.
Yeah.
He goes up to the ship's bow and just like has a wee smoke and then returns immediately.
Yeah. He does smoke during the line shorter of breath, one day closer to death, which is another Pink Floyd anti-smoking thing they've had in the
anti-smoking campaign continues as a through line. I like that. Nice. Then like over the course of this party, it's just like Steve and Ned sort of getting to know each other with various other characters interacting in the background. Getting to know him a bit better, find out where he came from, what he does now. He's a pilot now. Yeah. Ned reveals that he's been a fan of Steve and his work since he was 11 years old. And he reveals like a little signet ring that he's kept with the logo and everything on it, which is very cute.
Very much so. And then he's going to join them on their next trip.
And then, we get into Great Gig now, as we get an intro to the Belafonte, which is the name of the boat. And this
was the scene that pretty much inspired this film, was Wes Anderson saw a photo of a boat cut in half.
Yeah.
And was like, oh.
It's stunning, this sequence.
Such a good sequence.
A model of a boat that is explored. And so someone has created a model size version of this boat that is also a cross-section version of the set, which is real life sized.
Yeah.
Which is explored throughout here. And it's incredible. The way this long shot is cut together of them exploring the different rooms and sections of the boat is just amazing. It's great filmmaking.
Yeah. And then I read somewhere that they couldn't actually fit a camera in the same room and get enough of it in shot. So the camera during this pan is actually out a door in a different room.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It must have been such a huge construction to put this all together.
Yeah.
And get all the camera angles right. It's so impressive. And it playing out over Great Gig is just such a feels good moment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives us more of a kind of glimpse of the kind of characters we've described and what they do.
Yeah.
And just every character has his or her own story just happening in this film as well, which I love.
Yeah.
At one point during a different cross-section vibe, Klaus is in the tub playing with a toy boat.
Oh, I love that.
I only noticed with this Pink Floyd watch, and it made me so happy.
Everyone's just busying about this little set sequence. They're all doing their own little thing as we're watching. And we also getting narration from Steve here about all the different parts of the boat and how they contribute to the filmmaking and their history. The little minor touch that I put on the end of this is that the mini sub is named after yet another ex of Steve's. A fourth woman that's been introduced at this point, I think.
I think so, yeah. It's Jacqueline crossed out and it's called Deep Search.
Yeah, so good.
This is not interesting, is what Paramore named their boat tour that they did a few years ago.
Paramore boat tour?
Yeah, Parahoy on the Paramore cruise ship.
Oh my lord. The Paramore cruise ship.
Yeah, they've done 2 cruise ship tours.
All right.
The last one was in 2018 and it looked pretty sick.
I mean, I can imagine. That'd be pretty fun.
You could do Paraoke, which was karaoke to Paramore, and the members of Paramore were the judges.
Oh, they judge it. They weren't doing the live performance. You can't be in Paramore briefly.
Oh, that would have been even better, but probably exhausting.
Yeah, goddamn. After that, I just feel for the members of Paramore being like so exhausted after like a cruise that is themed around them. I can't believe they did 2.
Yeah, like separated by a few years, but
Yeah.
I think there's only 2 proper Paramore concerts on the trip.
Okay.
And then their friends and side projects, and I think
sounds.
Why do I know so much about this? It just seemed really interesting, and like there's a thing that kind of goes out of like how to behave when you kind of like run into Paramore at the like dining thing, like just kind of be cool, say hi,
Don't freak out.
Yeah,
They too are people. The Paramore,
because the members of Paramore, the amount of fans who like want to like hug them and start crying is probably huge, and I'm one of those fans. So.
You're full Paramore stan.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right.
Anyway, as I'm derailing this podcast, the mattress I've set up to bounce my audio a little nicer than last week is falling apart.
Oh no.
So that was my sign to. No, I'm all good now. That was my sign to get us back on track. We go to the Explorers Club with Ned.
Yes.
Yeah,
just
Ned,
like a bar, themed bar, kind of.
For like ocean explorers, right?
Yeah, it's got like lots of portraits of different explorers in there. The one of Steve is hilarious, and also the one of Hennessy, Jeff Goldblum's character, is also great.
Yeah,
just chilling here.
They confront. There's some fans who think Steve's lost it.
Fake fans.
Yeah. Ugh.
Fake
and
fans.
And they like ruin their wine breakfast, I assume.
Yeah, their bougie brunch,
Yeah.
Fake fans, not deep fake fans, these guys. That's a callback.
That was good. And then they head to Steve's private island.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. Would you ever have a private island?
Would I have one?
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, same.
I think I'm not at a place in my life where a private island would be a sound investment, or
not at all.
I don't think I could give it the attention it deserved.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a private island that others could use. I'd probably end up like using it to somehow benefit humanity if I could, rather than just having an island to myself. I'd probably like rent it out to like some like charity or something, because I don't need a fucking island, man.
Yeah, you've passed the test. That is a good answer.
I've inherited the island Willy Wonka
Yeah,
factory.
Now you get the island.
Fuck yes.
And then it turns out you were lying.
Of course I'm lying. No. No, I'm not.
The guy who invented Tupperware bought a private island, and he was so excited, and then he realized the reason he could afford it was the fact it was like a lot of chemical testing went on there.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that's your private island fact.
I got a sweet joke about that. I bet that island was really well preserved.
Nice.
Woo! Anyway. So after this little interlude here at the thing, Ned also reveals that his mother killed herself. She was struggling with cancer, I believe, and then the pain got too much for her and she took her own life, which is really awful. But yeah, so Steve's like dealing with that as well. He never really got to like say goodbye or anything like that. But yeah, after not talking to her for 30 years. But anyway.
Yeah, true.
So they'd sort of just discuss the deaths of people they love at the end of
Yeah, because then he just brings up Esteban kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's like, I lost someone too. Yeah. It's a good way to close out Great Gig, I think.
Yes, for sure.
Talking about the deaths of loved ones. It's
Yeah.
on brand, on theme. So flying to the private island takes place as we get into money, which is perfectamundo.
Yes.
Bougie as hell owning a private island. I love it.
Yeah, it's technically Eleanor's parents paid for it, right?
Yes, as they did many of Steve's films, which is revealed here.
His worst films, he says.
Yeah, which is, I guess, he's like putting the blame on them for him making films, but whatever. Yeah.
He feeds his orca in this island, and the orca, who definitely listens to Pink Floyd, goes up for the line "my," and then down for the line stack. So it's like, get your hands off of my orca up, stack orca down.
There you go.
Very good.
Nice. It's also, I just love that there's shots in the movie. How expensive was this to get Bill Murray to like feed a real orca?
It would have been expensive because they wanted to have this scene in Rushmore, but they couldn't afford it.
Yeah, it's great. We even see the orca behind him on a later scene, which is like just sort of a TV thing going on. I don't think the next bit is real, just having an orca swimming around behind him, but it is a great shot.
Yeah, this orca also in this scene coming up is grooving to Pink Floyd.
Oh,
again.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This orca's putting the numbers on the board for our graph.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Putting in the work, orca.
Yeah.
You're killing it. You're the killer whale killing it.
Did you know orcas are actually dolphins?
I think I did know that. Yeah, they definitely like resemble dolphins more than they do other whales.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, they got the same.
I told my
shape.
dad that, and he just refused to believe it.
Nah, I buy it. They're like real big dolphins.
Yeah.
That tracks. Even like belugas, little the guys with the big foreheads. I feel like they're like more close to dolphins as well. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, they're great as well. I have a badge of them. Anyway.
The beluga badge?
Should we cut ahead to this beluga badge, to this scene with this orca in the background?
Sure.
No, wait, we're cutting very far ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. We've got, before
my
that,
goodness.
we've got the Ned is summoned in the middle of the night to be a boom operator, right?
Like, one of the most important scenes. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, hundreds of jellyfish have washed up on shore, and we want to capture this for the film because it's pretty sick. A bit of marine life stuff going on. So Ned is a boom operator and does a wee ad lib to Steve, asking him a question, which is good for the film. Makes Klaus incredibly annoyed, but we'll see that later. And then, Steve officially invites Ned to join Team Zissou. Zissou or Zissou?
Zissou, I believe.
Okay.
If I've got that wrong, I'm going to feel real embarrassed.
It must be Zissou. Anyway, where he says he's super not qualified to do that and then immediately accepts.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then, he like calls his naval officer and tells him that he's like, I've got someone to cover my flights, etc. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
This is also where Jane arrives on the scene, the reporter.
Yes.
Kate Winslet, right?
Kate Blanchett.
Her
character's last name is Winslet.
Oh, well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
You set me up to fail, Life Aquatic. Come on. Kate Blanchett, I apologize. Who is also fantastic in this. She immediately starts sassing everyone for their matching PJs.
Yeah.
They're like branded Zissou PJs, which is so cute. They're also all wearing their hats still as well.
Yeah.
Which I assume they do to bed, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All to keep their like secret amazing hairdos in shape.
Please, yes. She's a reporter for the Oceanic Explorer magazine that I guess is related to the club that we saw earlier. She is doing like a expose report kind of thing on Steve's new film and on him as a person as well.
The cover story.
Yeah.
And we see their first interview. This is the scene I was itching to get to just for this orca.
Yes.
And it does not go well.
No, it is not good. Very adversarial.
Bill Murray pulls a gun out on her.
Yeah, it's...
For one thing.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh stuff. He, he gets offended by Jane's questions in that he thought that this was going to be like a puff piece kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, makes Jane cry with his comments and some nastiness. It's pretty rough stuff. Like, because the interview's not going the way that he wanted or expected, he immediately, attempts to disrupt it and destroy it.
This is, your first real big sign that Steve sucks.
Oh, yeah. True enough.
And Bill Murray improvised the pulling a gun scene.
Dang. Amazing. Yeah. It is kind of
not
funny.
That, Bill Murray just keeps a gun on him at all times.
No. It tracks to the plot of the movie. A lot of the people are armed on the ship and stuff as sailors. They just are given, there's even a question later whether or not they arm the interns that they have with them.
Yeah.
Which I think we forgot to mention at the top of the movie. that we see that he has a bunch of unpaid interns with him from like the local university who are coming along for like extra credits. Oh, the unsung heroes, the unpaid interns.
Yeah.
Love them.
One of them is played by Matthew Gray Gruber, who you'd recognise from 500 Days of Summer and Criminal Minds.
There you go. He's not
he used to be Wes Anderson's intern.
He doesn't have a criminal mind himself like Frankenstein does, but he was featured in the show. It's like a sciencey guy for that. What do you call it? The solving of crimes? My mind is broken. CSI, crime scene investigation.
I don't know. I'm blanking too, but I know they really worry about unsubs on that show.
Unsubs?
Yeah, they're always after those unsubs.
I don't know what that means. Just make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. That's what I assume it is.
And if you don't like it, hit that unlike and unsub button.
Unsubscribe button, yeah. It's the same button. It changes.
Yeah.
This interview goes very poorly. As it continues, we see like Steve receives some like branded Nikes through the mail.
Adidas, yeah.
Oh, Adidas, sorry. And
that's good. Just because I've tried to buy those in my life.
Oh, really?
They're sold out of my size.
Oh no. It's again indicative of that. Like, I feel like Steve is very frivolous with his money, and that he has a private island and all this other stuff, but can't fund his films, or like has given up on that like avenue. It's sort of like this all playing out over money is very appropriate as well, and that like he's sort of divorced from reality in terms of he's no longer enjoying the art of making the films at all, and just like doing it for the money. The
money and the legacy.
Yeah. Which is a shame. But, perfect for money. Anyway, what else is happening?
Speaking of money, they've got to get some.
Yeah. There is a brief confrontation after this interview scene as well, with Klaus and Ned have a confrontation.
Oh, yeah.
Where,
this is a scene I forgot.
Yeah, it's important. It's good. Klaus, like, comes up and confronts Ned about being a, quote, real Zasso. And they're very harsh with each other, like slaps Ned in the face, and Ned's like, if you hit me again, I'll come at you like a speeding bullet. Something like that, to that effect. So they have their own little rivalry, and that Klaus sees himself basically in the son role to Steve and Esteban. And Ned is sort of encroaching on his space and his role in there. He's worried about no longer being the number one man for the job, the number two. Steve's number two, you know?
It's like obviously very well acted, and like Willem and Owen are great, but like Klaus, it's a sad little pitiful thing that he's insecure about this.
Absolutely, yeah. It's his defining like character feature throughout the whole runtime of the film, and very like childlike. But it goes to show that like this has been his whole life. Like he's been here basically the whole time. It's sort of implied, I think, that like because we see his nephew join the crew at the end of the film, I think it's a very similar story for what Klaus's whole relationship to this has been like. I think he's been here for like the whole runtime of the show, and and all the films, etc. And so he feels like he's being usurped, which is relatable, but as you say, very petty and childish.
Yeah. Oh, you've won me back, actually. That's a really good point.
That's my take anyway. It's like unconfirmed, but that's like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel his arc goes anyway. Steve reveals that he found out about, he talks with Ned about like the interview going awry, and very harshly talks about Jane. And he's just basically worried about the piece damaging his reputation, and also mainly his ego, you know. He feels like it's a personal attack kind of thing. He also reveals to Ned that he found out that he potentially had a son 5 years ago by reading about it in the paper, or in an article about him. He's just like, I assumed they were well researched, so it must be true, which is a great line. But very, very upsetting. But yeah, he basically said that he never contacted Ned because he never wanted to be a father.
Yeah,
But,
he
like,
hates
we see
fathers
this
and never wanted to be
relationship.
them. And Pink Floyd sing.
That's right. Yeah. Damn right. And we will see this relationship develop over the course of the film, and evolve. Where Steve sort of realizes that he does want to be a father, right?
Yeah, or that he likes Ned enough that he's willing to put that aside.
I would say that this is like sort of it's a father-son story. But yeah, he's like falling into all the pitfalls of being a terrible father that he so despises, or like it says that he dislikes throughout this movie. He like makes all the classic blunders, I would say. But yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
What else happens now? We've got Jane calls up Ross, her partner, over the phone. We find out later that her partner is the father of her child. She's pregnant. I don't know if we mentioned. Is her editor, and also is married to someone else, which is rough stuff. Rough going for Jane. So she's sort of a lost soul as well. Along with like Ned, who is also a lost soul, like looking for his father figure after losing his mother. I think a lot of these characters are just trying to like desperately hold on to their place in the world, right? They're trying to find steady ground out there. That's why it's so sad.
Yeah, and it's especially hard to find steady ground when you're on a boat.
Yeah, man, that's tough.
All that ocean.
Hold on to the railing. We get another phone call from Osiri here to find out that the funding has pulled out. Completely gone. And he's like, he also says that he's like a criminal at this point, I think.
Later he's a fugitive and he has to like go on the lam for a bit.
Yeah, it's so wild, this like off-screen adventure that Osiri has where he's like hiding from various governments.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny stuff. But yeah, at this point, Ned offers his inheritance that he got from his mother's death to fund the movie. Bold move. And Osiri can't even quite believe it. He asks Steve to say what his face is like, what kind of facial expression he has as he's saying this. And then, they fly out to see Osiri at his like mansion place and discuss the conditions of the funding and the contract, etc. And the banks are so worried about the situation that they are sending along a person for the voyage. Our friend Bill is coming along. The stooge. The bank stooge.
Bill and you are the only two watching this film and keeping that much track on the money.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love Bill.
Same. Bill is played by Harold from Harold and Maude, which I only found out this watch.
I didn't know that at all. Yeah, no.
And he's the only other character other than Steve and Eleanor who had their character written for them.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so shout out to Bud Court.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Bud. You're my
Great
bud.
name.
Yes. What else happens now? So yeah, the voyage begins proper over any color you like. They set off. Day one. Here we go. We get a little like montagey thing of them preparing, and then they head off. They're all running down the beach in their red hats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then begins proper. Very quickly, there is a part where Ned has previously said that he can't swim, and as part of the montage, there's like a little training bit where he's learning to scuba dive, and the montage immediately cuts off with him being resuscitated after nearly drowning. A plot point that he can't swim, so yeah. Poor Ned, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still keen to come on the voyage anyway and fund everything, so yeah. I lied about it being day one. I'm so sorry, that happens a bit later.
That's okay. I'll forgive you.
Yeah, getting mixed up in my own notes. Eleanor comes in and says that she thinks that the voyage is ill-advised and Steve's doing it for the wrong reasons and all this stuff. She's like very upset with him and demands that he stay and not go out because he's not in the right headspace to do so. He's only after revenge, really. Doesn't actually care about making the film and all this stuff. And it like drives a wedge in their relationship to the point where she decides to leave, seeing as she can't get him to stay his hand, stop going on the voyage. So yeah, she can't condone this and flies away.
As Pink Floyd sing about how the band you're in is playing different tunes.
Yeah, man. So true.
Yeah.
She like flies directly overhead as we get into eclipse, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was a moon out, she'd be eclipsing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. And then we get like the day one proper. This is where it happens. Sorry. And then just like opening shots of the movie being cut together as we watch. We get like, and this is like very similar to the start of the film. We get like lots of little interstitials of them editing the movie live on the boat, which is fun. They comment about there being a relationship subplot between Ned and Steve, which is great because it's a literal plot point in the real film that we're watching. It's like, this will get in the audience. So I just think it's really funny to comment on that. And also Jane's interview continues on now as we get into the heartbeats. She's like talking to him up in the balloon. They go up. Yeah, Steve has just so much random crap. That he's got a private island and a balloon and a sub and a helicopter and all kinds of crap, you know?
Yeah.
And he apologizes to Jane up in the balloon for his behavior earlier, which is good. And then, this is where she reveals her situation about the father of her child, etc. She asks him some more hard-hitting questions. Asks him why he abandoned Ned as a child, because she's worried about like fathers and fatherhood, etc. Steve is like way more worried about, instead of the relationship that he has with Ned, he's like far more concerned about this article and it still being a hit piece against him. It's rough, you know.
These are the Steve and Jane scenes are ugly scenes.
They are brutal.
I can imagine this might have been why people didn't like this movie that much, is they're very uncomfortable scenes.
Oh, it sucks, yeah. Like, it's Steve, we haven't mentioned to this point as well, but as soon as Jane, like, came on the boat with them, he said that, like, he liked her and wanted, like, to have a relationship with her, basically. He's, like, very creepy about it, like, hits on her and stuff, and tells the rest of the crew, tells Klaus in particular, to back off.
Which is very interesting, the assumption that Klaus is, like, a real ladies' man.
Yeah. The thing is, right, I assume that there's a lot of, like, free love kind of things happening on this boat in the past, right?
That's true.
With women on board and things like that, I feel like this is an old story that has played out many times, not only with Steve, but with basically everyone on the ship has done this kind of thing. And, it's just gross, like, male-gazy stuff where it's like, I bagsy her. You know, she's mine, back off, dude. It's like, ugh, okay. It plays into Steve being this awful man. But
to its credit, the film is not, like, condoning this stuff.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
If anything, they're painting it as, like, a really terrible thing. That, like, in fact, like, a lot of the men in this movie are, like, horrible people. You know? Like, Jane's partner is, like, having a baby with her out of a relationship while he's married to someone else. Like, that's fucked, you know?
Yeah, and there's, like, a running thing when she calls him that he has to go, or he, like, isn't actually... It's just leaving a message.
Yeah, she just leaves messages, right? I don't think he ever says a line of dialogue.
Ugh.
He's never there.
Yeah.
Which is the point, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, Ned and Steve are up on deck listening to whale sounds, as you do when on a boat. And Ned says that he wants to take a stab at redesigning the Zissou insignia, the logo, which is quite cute. Weird that there's this, like, subplot of graphic design. in the movie. But
very much Wes Anderson's interests.
yeah. It reveals that Ned reveals a letter that Steve sent in reply to a fan mail message that he sent him 17 years ago when he was just a boy. And yeah, so we see the reply here, and later on we see the original message that was sent. I do like the out of time structure that this takes.
Heck yeah, same.
And that it really adds an emotional hit when we see the original message in response that this was a response to. And yeah, it's really cleverly done. Again, like Wes Anderson shows the letter on screen as it's read as well, which is
it was stationary arranged around it.
So the plan going forward is to visit the Undersea Research Station, as shown on a little pull-down infographic that we see. We find out that this is Hennessy's research station that he has in operation for looking at sea life, and they just sort of break in. And Bill comments on this. He's like the Stooge guy. He says, like, I have to report anything illegal that you do, and he's like, say whatever you want. Do whatever. You're here with us, so whatever, man. They just break in. It's great. And they're using Hennessy's equipment to try and find the jaguar shark.
It's great because it starts off like, oh yeah, we're just using the equipment, and it's like, oh, let's take the coffee machine, get everything you can carry.
Yeah, on the record, they're just using this research station, but in actuality, they're stealing everything that isn't nailed down. There's a really fun shot of them panning up the long spiral staircase, which snakes down to the sea floor. Of them, all the interns just carrying a bunch of crap up to the ship, which is really funny.
It's very on the run as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Which was playing at the time.
Ah, nice. Yeah. The script supervisor lady from earlier, Anne-Marie, thank you, is worried about Steve has led them into unprotected waters. We're outside of the jurisdiction of any government here. And so she's worried about that. And he's like, yeah, I know. Like, if you're concerned, then whatever, basically. It's just... So that's not cool. But yeah, they do manage to get away, though. And yeah, they sail away with all of Jeff Goldblum's stuff.
Yeah.
Poor guy. And as we cut back into the interior of the ship of them using their equipment, we pass through like a bunch of steam in the engine room, and that coincides with the crash sound and On the Run here. So
nice, yes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
There's also our boy with the radar is saying that there's a phantom blip out there that they should investigate probably. Oh, Ned points it out, sorry. There's this other blip there, but they're saying like this big blip is where the jaguar shark is, and so we're heading that way. But on the way, there's another blip that they don't know what it is, so they're going to go check that out. And yeah, Steve is really pissed about him like circumventing his like running the show basically. Before his ad lib was good because it made Steve look good, but because it's him pointing something out that Steve didn't notice before, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, the plan going forward is whisper it in my ear.
Yeah, which is messed up.
Yeah.
And yeah, this happening also goes off with all the clocks going off, this exchange between Ned and Steve.
The clocks of Steve's brain.
Yeah. No, not so good. Not so good, this part. So we get a bit of more continued romance between Ned and Jane as they're hanging out in the spa together. In the early montage of them preparing for the voyage, Ned found like a sand dollar on the on the beach and gave it to Jane, or vice versa. Actually, sorry, Jane found a sand dollar and showed Ned, and it was confiscated by Steve. And then Ned found it again and then hands it back to Jane here in the scene. It's the romantic moment is unfortunately interrupted by the rest of the crew just coming in for a spa.
Just the lads getting into the spa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Just good vibes. I mean, if you got a spa on a ship, you're going to use it.
Yeah.
I'd be there like every day. If I'm on the Paramore cruise, you'll be finding me in the goddamn spa, all right?
Paramore are like, where is he?
It's like
he paid all this money.
It's like me and the bassist just chilling
Yeah.
in the spa non-stop.
Paramore's current bassist is a New Zealander, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's our connection. It's great.
Two spa-loving Kiwis.
There you go. Can't go wrong. Yeah, so after the spa, Jane returns to her room and discovers that Steve is broken in and is reading the half-written article that's been written about him because he can't bloody help himself. It's awful. Invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
It's messed up. But yeah, that's how...
And he completely, tore the door off because it was locked.
That's how fragile his ego is, that, he needs to know, what's being said about him. But anyway, he's, pissed about what she's written, etc.
Yeah.
And she's literally just, quoting things that he said in the article. But he thinks that she's, making him look like an idiot, and he doesn't want that for the front page, etc. So, yeah, they have a huge row.
He gets real obsessed from this point about what's on the record and what's off.
Yeah, very careful.
It kind of becomes a running gag, but also, a kind of character note.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's been a thing in the film as well. He is constantly making notes about what gets included in the film that it's making. He's doing because he's so conscious of editing. I think this transition to him being careful about what he says on and off the record is an easy translation to make, because he probably already compartmentalizes the things he says in that way or for the film, in order to paint himself in the best possible light in the director role and leader of these expeditions. I think this is something he's not only good at but used to.
It definitely, that might actually be the moral of this film, is because he's looking at such a beautiful world and he feels like he needs to be as beautiful as it. So he's like you said, compartmentalizing. He's cutting out anything that makes him look bad. Yeah. And kind of what he learns is that that's what I am. And kind of, he learns that he can't just push that aside. He has to be with it.
He's not this amazing explorer man, because he is also a real man, outside of his adventures and his role as this filmmaker, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even we see this, we saw this a bit earlier. I think we skimmed over it, but the crew were watching one of his old documentaries of them in this ice shelf area of them hanging out, and then he literally rescues a bunch of little ice marmots or something, little weasels.
Snow mongoose.
Yeah, snow mongoose, ice marmot. But it's literally rescuing a puppy with a broken leg, that kind of thing that he's including in his films. And it's so obviously over the top, him being oh, I'm this grand explorer savior person, that's who he sees himself as, and even the crew are commenting on those were the good old days, yeah we may have cracked it, I don't know.
Done and dusted.
What did you think?
We'll take our media review degrees now.
Yeah, please, in the mail. Send mine as an email attachment if you can.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we cut to Hennessy's ship aboard the Hennessy's boat. Brand.
Like you said, so stormtroopery.
Yeah, it's great. It's shot out of Star Wars. It's really good. And then he learns that Steve has broken into his station, and he's prepare my elephant gun. I'm gonna hunt him down, which is another explorer trope thing. Usually probably used on the plains of Africa or whatever, but hilarious that he has one out at sea. But goes with the nature documentary theme, I suppose.
We also cut to this ship, this stormtrooper ship, right when we get this digging away.
Yeah.
It's a real, because this is the first rocking out moment of the album in probably 5 minutes after clock sound effects and bloopy synthesizers. And it's very much like the bloopy synthesizers are definitely Steve and his crew, whereas the rockin' out is so Hennessy and their crew.
Absolutely. That tracks for me. They're coming to hunt them down anyway. They're hot on the trail. So we cut back to the Zissou crew, and they're investigating the blip that they saw before, with some really wild underwater sets that have been constructed. Really, really gorgeous. This like very Technicolor coral and stuff. All this construction. This has been really hard to film, I think, as well. Like, it's all very, like, open, wide-angle stuff of people swimming around, which, like, actually swimming around underwater. And I think that'd be really difficult to put together. But yeah, very cool.
Heck yeah.
And they discover a crashed plane underwater. There's some fun shots of, like, fish swimming around and, like, looking at the black box inside the ship. Underwater here, there's a conversation between Ned and Steve where Ned suggests calling Steve Dad in the upcoming scene. And he's like, that's a good instinct, but I think we could go with a different nickname. Why don't you call me Stevesy?
Yeah.
Which is heartbreaking.
So rough. And, like, he even forgets. He's like, what was the one you were going to say? Like, he pretends to forget.
It's like, Dad.
Yeah. And it's made all the more, like, I don't know, fun by the fact that they have to press a button on the front of their scuba things to actually talk to each other.
Yeah, it's funny that it's like a long conversation that's happening underwater as well. This was preceded by them explaining that they have like little radio transmitters inside their helmets that double as like playing music while they swim around, which is just...
That was the scene I remembered the most from the trailer that I'd watch.
Yeah. It's just like Bill Murray just grooving around with a little aerial sticking out of his helmet. It's really funny. In a scuba suit.
Yeah.
It's rough, this sequence. One of the like most crushing indictments of Steve's newfound parenthood, but anyway.
Heck yeah.
This plays out over time, and it's rough. What happens now? Oh yeah, Ned gets...
Ned
gets his own back against Klaus, and like gives him a wee slap in retaliation for earlier. Because he's pissed off about the whole Steve situation, and says that they're even. Because basically Ned has identified that Klaus is feeling exactly the same as Ned, and that they are both like repressed people treating Steve as a father figure where Steve doesn't want to be a father, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of in the same boat, and he sort of figured out Klaus's situation in that way, and Klaus is like, what the fuck?
Because Klaus hasn't figured that out.
No way. He figures that out much later.
Yeah.
So we go on a great gig, and Ned and Jane have a lovely kiss.
Yeah.
They have a little scene together, and they kiss each other. It's gorgeous. And we get a funny little spy dolphin. I don't know if we mentioned this earlier either. There are two trained dolphins with cameras on their heads that they use, but they're notoriously unreliable.
Yeah, they're always just looking at each other.
Yeah, which is very funny. Yeah, it's even... I think it's been commented on earlier that like they can't listen. They don't hear us. They either aren't listening to us or they don't understand us.
Yeah.
Which is great. He's peeking through the little porthole window, and Steve nearly catches sight of it on the monitor, but cut back to it, and it's just the dolphins looking at each other and going, hello, fellow dolphin.
They're so cocooned, these dolphins.
Oh, super. These are horny-ass dolphins down here, ready to film some lovemaking. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but Ned is supposed to be keeping watch.
Yes,
he's either snuck away or he's not been called because they've changed his name to Kingsley Zissou.
Oh yeah,
on the call sheet.
Forgot that whole plot point. Yeah, it's so silly. I got given stationery earlier that Steve had made up for him, and it says Kingsley in brackets Ned Zissou.
Yeah,
which is so good. But yeah, he's not at his post, and the ship is invaded by pirates.
Yes.
Oh no.
If you're not listening with Pink Floyd, it's a great scene of Pele dos Santos playing Space Oddity, and as he does the countdown, is when the pirates board the ship.
That's very good. Yeah,
Yeah, worth noting though, Pele was the other person on watch, and he's just jamming away to David Bowie.
I mean, you can't stop Pele from getting to a good jam, you know.
That's true.
You can't put that one on him. Ned's supposed to be at his post, but Pele, he gets a pass, you know.
Yeah. He's the only guy I'd want to play an acoustic guitar at a party, by the way.
Hard agree.
Yeah.
There's a good shot of him just like jamming away as he like peeks over and sees like a ladder that has been propped up against the prow of the ship, and he's like, oh, that's weird. It's very good. But yeah, attacked by pirates. Plot twist.
Yeah. Quite brutally.
Yeah, Steve himself is in the steam room inside the spa zone, as I would be, in his togs, very tight togs, and nothing else. And yeah, everyone gets captured. He goes, gets like dragged through the ship and sees that Ned and Jane are like having sex, and he's more furious about that than he is about the ship being attacked by pirates.
Yeah,
as they're all like tied up together in the same room. It's a very bad situation.
Yeah.
One of the pirates comes in and like knocks out Ned, dragging him away, and this upsets everyone. He's taken on board the pirate's boat as a hostage, and it's like, oh no. Steve is like brought up on deck and with the guns pointed at all his crew, and they're like being arranged basically on the deck of the ship so that they can account for everyone on board.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bill, the corporate stooge guy, actually speaks the language of the pirates, which is Filipino, by the way. And yeah, in a stroke of luck, he's like vital to this. Manages to do a bit of negotiation, and they bloody swap Bill as the hostage for Ned.
Yeah.
It's ruthless. Poor Bill is like the only person that can communicate with them, and he somehow, through this process, gets taken away instead. That's rough.
Yeah. And then there's this very iconic but like strange scene, which I thought when I first watched this was a dream sequence. Where without the Pink Floyd playing, Search and Destroy by the Stooges starts playing.
Oh.
Bill Murray, or Steve Zissou, just gets up, or like breaks free due to his ocean madness from earlier.
Yes.
And like, just goes full like Taken on them.
Yeah, goes ham, just starts, he like steals a gun using a swift maneuver, just starts murking dudes. Like kills all the remaining pirates, and like some of them get away on the ship, and he just like unloads a clip at the ship.
Yeah,
it's mental. It does play like a dream sequence in that it's like so different from anything that we've seen up until this point. It's pretty wild.
This is the first in the original, obviously not with Dark Side of the Moon. This is the first song that's not a David Bowie song that plays.
Yeah.
But it was mixed by David Bowie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know he was like so heavily involved in the music process of the film, so that's cool. I guess he like must have been executive producing in that regard. Maybe.
He was more he was just like a big Iggy Pop fan, and he like worked on Iggy Pop albums.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We did miss a wee sink in there, by the way. The key motivation.
Oh, yes.
The key motivation for the pirates, why they're here, they're like asking about a safe, and Steve's like, we don't have a safe, and then it cuts to a shot from one of his films where it's explaining like the safe on board the ship, and everyone like all the money that they have in different currencies, and it's just a collective shot of all the pirates standing together in like a kitchen, like watching this. It's great. It's a very quick way to establish what they're doing. And that sequence plays up as exactly on the start of Money, which is nice, sick.
And there's little quick cuts of everything going badly, and Steve's ocean madness sync really well with the time. There's 7/4 time of Money.
Yeah, man. Into that.
Yeah.
So after sort of getting rid of, like, going full action hero mode, taking control of his ship through force, he like manages to like get them off the ship. That like the aftermath of which is like his ship is on fire, like completely destroyed. A bunch of stuff is stolen. They also randomly have a dog now that the pirates just left on the boat.
Yeah.
Whom they name Cody, which is great.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. Then we get a title card on screen saying Day 14 Mutiny on the Belafonte, which is hilarious that they cut this into the film. But yeah, there's unrest as to them being attacked by pirates for being in international waters. The script supervisor and a bunch of the interns are not very happy about this. And interrupting this sequence, Hennessy suddenly arrives, who is responding to their distress signal, is what he says, but he's actually been hunting them down for stealing a bunch of their crap. For invading his base. He doesn't know that they stole a bunch of stuff at this stage, I don't think. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is going to tow them to land as long as it's on his path.
Yes.
And then drops them a massive invoice for his time.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
He's a nasty man. Yeah, gets him to sign a contract on board his ship. Gets Steve to, sorry. It's really good cutting back and forth where Hennessy's like lounging on this enormous yellow sofa under a pavilion that he's set up on board his ship. And Steve is sitting on a tiny red stool with the dog from the pirate attack just sitting behind him. Hilarious. Just the like difference in like setting up. This is like the CEO of a company leaving you like a really, really small chair to sit on as they interview you. Like, what do you do for my company? That kind of thing. Great stuff.
Yeah, and they're talking about this invoice during Money, and when he talks about how someone stripped his C-Lab, Pink Floyd sing, "It's a crime."
Sure is. Sure is a crime.
You know what? Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Theft. It was brought up earlier, even at the time.
Yes.
Bill commented on it. He knows.
Yeah.
Definitely listening to Pink Floyd.
Yeah, he's hearing it.
Yeah, he's hearing it. If only he were here. Oh,
yeah.
Kidnapped by pirates. It's gone bad for
And
Bill.
speaking of people who aren't here, some people leave as Us and Them starts playing.
Yes.
Steve gives the saddest speech about how he's pretty much begging, like, is this my fault?
He like assesses crew morale, basically. He's like, I realize things have gone badly. And like, he's like, it's probably my fault. And then draws a line of chalk on the deck, and leaves these very unclear instructions as to whether or not you'd like which side of the line you should stand on if you are staying or going, which confuses the hell out of Klaus. Who like immediately like boldly stands on the opposite side of the line. It's like, what, Klaus? Why? It's like, I back you 100%. It's like, no, if you cross the line, you want to leave. And he's like, oh, I didn't understand.
He's like legit scared that means he's fired, like because he's already crossed the line.
It's again very childlike, very funny.
Yeah.
So all the interns and the script supervisor all want to quit. They step over the line, and then they leave.
Yeah.
He says that they only get partial credit because they quit on him.
Yeah, no, they don't even get that. They just get incomplete. So they really just wasted their time.
And got attacked by pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks. They're like furious, these poor interns. Shout outs to the interns of the world.
Heck yeah.
Underappreciated. Oh man. So they get pulled into port, and Jane is given a bunch of letters by Ned to write to him once she leaves, because she's decided that she's giving up on the article that she's writing about.
Which is fair enough.
Totally fair. She's like, screw this, I'm leaving. And so Ned gives her 50 self-addressed envelopes with like stationery and
with
like
each with 3 pieces of paper in them.
Yeah, and a pen, and is like, write to me, please.
Yeah, it's so sweet.
Very sweet. A little over the top. But it's totally fair enough on Jane's part that she wants to get out of here. But in Steve's perspective, basically everything is crumbling, right? He's lost like
Yeah.
a large contingent of his crew, and his boat is fucked, and he's lost the corporate stooge who's supposed to be keeping an eye on him, so he's going to have trouble with the funding and the banks, etc. It's all going terrible.
Yeah.
And so he goes and visits Eleanor at her house, her like a place where she's staying anyway. Here, this is where she's flown off to from earlier.
Yeah, it's Alistair's house, I think. One of Alistair's houses.
Oh, right. She's staying with...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. She's staying in her ex-partner's house, yeah.
Yeah. She's not staying with him, though. She's staying with the most beautiful man.
Yeah. This, like, young, attractive model guy who's just chilling here. And fair play. But yeah, she... I do really like that Steve comes all the way to her house and he's like... asks her up front for like he needs help to go and rescue this guy and to complete the film and fix the boat, etc., and asks for money from Eleanor's parents, and she says no. Like straight up front. And then he's like, well, can I come in and try and convince you anyway, because I've come this whole way up here, took like 2 hours to get here, so can I just like come in for a bit even though you've already said no? And she's like, yeah, right. He takes the opportunity to apologize fairly ungraciously for his actions. He starts like doing a bit of self-assessment, starts contemplating whether or not he's lost touch or not. He's starting to believe the takes that everyone's been telling him. He's like, maybe I have lost my touch, so I should give up and stop making films, you know?
Yeah, but even then, he's like not really addressing any of the really bad stuff he's done. He's just thinking still about his legacy.
Absolutely, yeah. He's saying that this will be his last adventure, whereas like that's not the real issue here. Like you've sort of let down people around you, and you aren't addressing that. So yeah, we get into Any Color You Like as they're like hanging out on the balcony here, and he's doing a bit of introspection, but not going the full way. So we return to the boat, and Steve again finds Jane is still there and in bed with Ned. So that's weird. And but yeah, she's been convinced to stay on board the boat and finish the story. And he's still again annoyed because he had a thing for Jane.
But this is him at some of his worst.
It
like,
sucks.
We've talked about the Jane scenes being he sucks, but
he's acting out of like pure jealousy and like self-righteousness, and it's so shitty. And like this kicks it off between Ned and Steve and assessing what their relationship really is and how they feel about each other. And we get a sweet shot again of the set that we saw before. The like cut in half set is being used when they're just like roaming throughout this whole boat and people are walking in and out around them. It's fantastic. They're having this huge argument as they're walking, and it's awesome. This is
definitely my like, again, back to my love Wes Anderson reason is like they're having such an ugly conversation, yet it's so beautiful. The like toy chest they're playing in.
Oh, so good, yeah. And it's perfect. Yeah, perfect scoring with Any Color You Like over this, in my opinion. Like super moody and just flying around this beautiful set with the horrible stuff happening. It's great. It's awesome. This is exactly.
Again, we see Vladimir in the background grooving away to Any Color as well.
Yeah, man, loving it.
Yes.
So this sequence culminates with them reaching like the crow's nest kind of part of the ship, the observation deck section, and they throw some punches at each other, expressing their frustration up in the lookout. And then we get into brain damage now as their relationship falls apart. It's irreparable at this stage, right? Steve says
the band they're in is playing different tunes.
Hell yeah. Steve says that says the line, "You call yourself my son, but I just don't see it," which is fucked. Ned elaborates that like Steve saying that calling Steve a nickname doesn't mean the same thing as being able to call him dad, which is brutal. Like it's also revealed in the sequence that Steve did know about that he had a son this whole time.
Yeah.
like 30 years ago, but yeah, never appeared in his life just because he was scared of being a father. Like, it's revealed that he did know the whole time, and it's like, fuck. And yeah, this argument is just, we just sort of left to sit for it for a little bit, where these guys are just like, well, that's it, I guess. And then Eleanor shows up on the boat suddenly via a water taxi, and she's brought a briefcase of money with her, and she's going to fund the repairs and everything the rest of the film, and they're going to go rescue Bill. So like, at least that can continue, but the relationship between Ned and Steve is done at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's as low as it's going to get. It's messed up. So yes, thankfully there is a distraction, and that they have action to go on, that they can go and rescue Bill now. So he's left a little like phone message somehow. I don't exactly know how he leaves this message, but he's just like, yeah, I'm blindfolded, I don't know where I am, help.
It's a friendly local boy, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So like, he befriends a pirate because he can speak their language, something like that. But yeah, he leaves a message. He's like, I don't know when I'll be able to call again, which is very funny. But yeah, doesn't say where he was because he didn't know. And Steve's like relenting this. He's like, I can't believe he didn't say where he was. And but Eleanor, being the super powerful, amazing woman that she is, can tell based on the phone quality, the sounds of wildlife in the background, and the time in relation to when the message was relayed, exactly where he is, to like a freakish degree.
She goes full Criminal Minds.
It's sweet. It's so funny. It's like, so silly that she can identify like which islands it is. It's great. But yeah, he's on one of these 3 small islands.
The Peng Islands.
Yes, one of which had a hotel on it, but that was destroyed by a monsoon. Sweet.
So it must be that one. So they go full Peng Island Lightning Strike Rescue Op, which is the name of the song that plays in the score at this point.
Wow.
Usually.
That's a great song title and a
it's so good.
Series of
Listen
words.
to that song, listeners. It's so good.
Yeah. We don't get it, though. We weren't listening.
We get silence.
Yeah.
So I just have to imagine one of my favorite pieces of music playing.
Yeah. There is a little brief bit before this where, in a shocking twist, Eleanor says that Ned can't be Steve's son because he shoots blanks. So, quote shoots blanks. But yeah, he's infertile, so Ned isn't even really his son.
Which is very interesting, and something the movie doesn't come back to, but intentionally, don't worry. It's not like a lot of the lines in the room. Yeah,
it's interesting. It adds another layer to this relationship, right? It's cool that it reveals here when their relationship is like completely destroyed at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's like they aren't even father and son, but they're so worked up over this situation, you know? It's really interesting. But yes, we're going to they're doing the raid on the beach. And yeah, over silence. I do kind of like that we're getting like heartbeats and stuff for this.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Another little note is that there's a little shot of the film continuing, and they discover Hennessy's ship has been attacked by presumably the same pirates. And there's a shot of Steve just standing on the tip of his the like end of his ship, like looking, doing the like hero pose, which is hilarious, and like again just feeding into his ego. Oh, poor Hennessy, man. But yeah, they're completely unaccounted for. But yes, end of playthrough 2, we're on the island. It's a great like reveal of the island, and like this it's a cool location, this like destroyed hotel location.
Oh heck yeah.
Don't know how they did this, like if this is an actual hotel that they just trashed, or like if it's all just sets. I don't know. It's really nice. There's no like shot
Wes Anderson
of a hotel.
booked every room of the hotel and just destroyed it and then filmed.
Yeah, I feel like that's something he would do. Like he cares enough about production design that he would like do it and then repair it all. You know?
Yeah, all by himself.
Yeah. But
you guys go ahead. I've got to finish doing this.
Yeah, I've got to finish trashing and then repairing this hotel room.
Yeah.
But yeah, they go in to rescue Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe that did happen because of all the people, Roman Coppola is the second unit director, which is a very big name for your second unit director. So maybe Wes did get distracted rebuilding an entire hotel.
There is a possibility.
Yeah.
I'll send the second unit out to complete the rest of this film. I'm just getting caught in the weeds of this hotel maintenance. Accidentally finds himself like running the hotel, and he's like, this would make a good film.
This gives me an idea.
Quite possibly.
Once I've finished dealing with these fantastic foxes that live underneath my hotel.
Yes, they sure are fantastic. Always trying to steal my delicious sweets. Oh my gosh.
And this album I'm listening to, Dark Side of the... that gives me an idea for a certain Rise Kingdom.
Oh my gosh.
I'll dispatch you, Roman, my second unit director.
Off you go. French
dispatch, that is.
Yes. He dispensed him while speaking French. Dispatched him.
And then walked off, finally left his island hotel, leaving Cody behind, and is like, an Isle of Dogs.
Oh my god. It all started here.
Yeah.
The cinematic universe of Wes Anderson. They're all connected. Find out more on my lengthy YouTube channel where I dissect and connect all these things that clearly aren't meant to go together.
Mate, you're already in that YouTube channel with this episode.
Shit.
Yes, they got to save Bill, but the hotel is empty.
Yeah, there's no one here. I do love that this rescue op is also being filmed as part of the film within the film. It's really funny just seeing Vikram running around with the camera. Isn't there like a little brief thing where he is from this island or like used to work here and before his film? Like before being part of the crew?
Steve honeymooned here and like knew everything. I don't think Vikram...
I think
it might be really buried.
He says that there was a like a person here, a bartender or something that made like really, really good drinks, and then he like immediately like looks to Vikram and asks him something. Like I think it's implied that it's him, but I'm not sure. Just like as a minor little connection thing. Fan theory.
Like
anyway, yeah.
Because everyone in this team is like Klaus was a bus driver.
Yeah. Like that's great. But yeah, there's like no one here, and they go around, and there's a bit where Steve falls down the stairs, and he's like, "No, capture this on film. I want to show the reality of my situation. A man down and out who's failed, etc."
Yeah. And he takes this opportunity to do another kind of half-hearted apology to Ned.
Says you can call him Papa Steve, which is closer to what he wants, but it's still shitty.
Any listeners, take this Pink Floyd challenge and call your dad Papa Steve today.
Especially if they're called Steve.
Yeah.
Then you have full reign to do so. But yeah, he says basically that he really is he does consider him as a son to him, and he was lying before, and it's shitty and too late, but whatever. On the Run starts playing as they find Old Mate Bill in the coat check. He's all tied up, and they save him, so that's good. They've done the thing. But then, exploring a bit more, Steve comes across Hennessy tied up, just like hanging out with the sailors and playing cards, hanging out with the pirates. Sorry. It's really good. He's like, "Oh, have you come to save me, Steve?" Like in a completely unexpected way.
And Steve's like, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he like kind of can't believe it. I do love that he folds his hand.
Yeah.
It's like a minor joke. It's really good. And then gets shot, poor Hennessy, in response to the fold. And then more action breaks out, popping off shots at each other. Big gun battle between the pirates and the crew.
Perfect sinkage, I reckon.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it's so good.
There's
They
they blow up the hotel in their escape. Like, there's a really funny shot of Klaus and Ned running in with a stick of dynamite through these revolving doors at the front of the hotel, and then it just like pans across to the crew who are all like standing around by this swimming pool, just sort of awkwardly waiting, and then the explosion goes off. We don't like actually see anything that plays out inside. It's just them waiting for this explosion, which is really funny. And yeah, they make their escape with Hennessy and Bill here. The crash sound in this playthrough doesn't align with anything, and I'm super thankful for this because the shot that it would play over is Steve like staying his gun and not shooting the kid who helped Bill escape and didn't do the phone call earlier. So yeah, I'm thankful that that doesn't align with any gun violence.
Same.
Yeah, and yeah, all the clocks go off where they like escape basically on their boat. They blow up a fishing boat in the background just so that they can't escape, that they can't be chased. And they rendezvous.
But they realized the safe was exploded.
Yes, there's a great shot of them cracking into the safe and then Owen Wilson looking through the other side through this like massive hole that's been cut into it. Really good. And yeah, so they've lost all that money, but yeah, fair enough. Presumably a lot of these pirates have been killed, so anyway. Poor Cody the dog also gets left behind on the island and they say goodbye to Cody. And then, we're back on deck. All is well. They're discussing the new symbol that Ned has designed. With it's really humorously explained with like different letters representing different people on different and like printed on different animals. It's really, really funny. It's like,
and we don't get to see it until like way later, which is
much
really
later.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like seeing it makes a lot more sense than this explanation. But I do really love what happens. Yes, later on they decide to. All that's left to do is like look for the jaguar shark to wrap the movie up. And so they go and look for it up in the helicopter. And there's a really funny sequence where old mate Klaus is saying how much it means to him that he got like his letter was put on a dolphin. It's like that. You have no idea how much that means to me, man. It's like him passing the torch and being like, "You're super important to this team." It's really funny.
Yeah, you can be his son, for I am a dolphin.
Yeah, for I am the dolphin of the team. Yes, it's so good. Briefly before this, there is a letter that is passed from Jane to Ned. The contents of the letter I haven't read. It's only briefly shown on screen.
It's just thanking him again for the necklace from earlier.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
And she's like, I look forward to writing to you more. Like, it's a real... nice glimpse into them.
Into their relationship, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, we get into time solo as they fly away, looking for the shark together, Steve and Ned. They're up in the helicopter. And Steve reveals that he kept the letter that Ned sent him all those years ago. Or he found it, anyway. And that is read on screen, and it's a touching moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, they spot the snapper from earlier in the water, from when they saw the jaguar shark last time. When suddenly something goes wrong with the helicopter, there's a clunk sound, and the helicopter goes down into the ocean. It's a crash. And there's shots of Ned holding onto like lifeboat as Steve runs over to swims over to him, and we get water like lapping up against the lens of the camera for this, which slowly turns red with blood, which is just such a sweet cinema. Like, it's such an awesome shot, very cleverly done and brutal. Because Ned is bleeding out from the helicopter crash, and he dies.
And this is like, I don't cry in movies. This, I teared up when we watched it clean, just for fun. When you suggested it. Yeah. I teared up. I did not expect. I teared up while Pink Floyd played.
Yeah, so Great Gig plays over the funeral held for him. Yeah. I think brutal.
Yeah, Great Gig like used to be a song that really got me, and then I
Yeah.
think prolonged exposure has taken that away.
Yeah, yeah.
It's come back. Like, oh my gosh, this is now Ned's song. Great Gig.
For sure, man. It's
Yeah,
it's handled well by the movie, this sequence. It's like it's quite unexpected him dying, I think.
yeah, for sure.
And yeah, it's short. It's shown how much it affects all the different people on the boat. We see like Eleanor watching from the little observation port at the bottom of the ship as we see the like coffin like sinking to the bottom of the ocean. It's brutal because he's buried at sea. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awful.
Oh, it's so sad, but also my scientist brain is like, it's a really good sing.
Damn good sink.
Yeah.
Damn good. Yeah, Steve has a little conversation with various people about Ned. He like says to Eleanor that he wanted to adopt him, and Eleanor's like, "That's really dumb because he's 30, but I would have considered it." Or 35 or whatever. Steve also Osiri has shown up on the boat here as well after his like on the lam kind of sequence. It catches him up to speed about everything. Just hanging out here. It's quite funny him just being like, "I'm here for the funeral." But yeah, here he is. He even goes to visit Jane, and they discuss the draft of the article. She lets him read it before putting it to print, and he says that he said those things, all the things that she's written about, and that she should send it to print. So that's some character growth there. He's sort of become more like self-accepting of who he really is, and like warts and all kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. At the end of Great Gig, the ping of the jaguar shark appears again on the radar. It's like they find it, and so they're like, who wants to go see it? And everyone goes down in the sub. This like fantastic iconic shot from the poster of the whole crew basically inside this submarine going down.
Yeah, somehow all fitting. Like the time it was taken to fit all of them in, and get them all in shot.
Yeah.
You got to admire that organization.
It's stunning. Yeah, it's a very well orchestrated shot of this like head on through the windscreen of the submarine. It's really good, and we get like lots of shots of all the different people looking outside at the sea life outside in the portholes as they descend. I also love that the submarine is dragging this enormous yellowfin tuna as bait for the shark, which is like as big as the submarine, which is so funny. They go down into the like trench where they got the ping and wait for the shark to approach. And it does. We get the like salmon all swimming past the sub as like an omen of the sharks being in vicinity or being nearby. And then it swims straight up to the camera. We see it. It's this huge, literal jaguar printed shark. As you could expect. Glowing. Yeah, it's great. It's really stunning. We get into like Money solo playing over this, and Steve says that he no longer wants to blow it up, and that they ran out of dynamite anyway and risked doing the pirate stuff. So, he says he wonders if the shark remembers him, and then just starts crying. And everyone puts
It's beautiful. If Pink Floyd had any decency, they would have just what's the word I'm after? Track listed the album to be Great Gig in the Sky and then Great Gig in the Sky again. Oh my gosh.
For this playthrough specifically, everyone in the submarine puts their hands on his shoulders to comfort him. And it's really lovely. Final part of the movie begins. It's the film is premiering, and there's a tribute to Ned as part of it inside, like, because he's another crew member that has died, so he's attributed inside the film. We see Jane up in the rafters where Ned was previously watching the film, where her son has been born in her arms. She's
wearing a little Steve Zissou hat.
It's cool. And we pan down to the same shot as before that we saw with the crew watching the film from like the corporate box, and Steve isn't there. There's a empty seat in the middle where he would be, and we see that he isn't watching the film and is instead waiting on the red carpet stairs outside which is flanked by like candles as well. I think this is just a really lovely visual.
Yeah.
And it's also just like really good character development for Steve, and that like he doesn't care. He isn't as invested in his legacy anymore, right? He's more invested in the people around him, and he's not even watching the film that he made. And I think it's just a really important part of the film that he's here hanging out. And then the nephew from the start of the film who gave him the ponyfish comes up and sits next to him, and Steve gives him Ned's ring that he had, his society ring, his Zissou society ring, and it's really lovely. And we would hear the film is being applauded in the background as well as it's finished. As this happens. It's really good, really lovely.
Yeah, Ned picks up the nephew, puts him on his shoulders.
Steve does.
Which is apparently reference to a famous photo of Sofia Coppola on Francis Ford Coppola's shoulders.
Cool. Nice.
That's anecdotal. I was told that.
All right. Yeah, it was Steve who did it, not Ned, by the way.
Oh, that's Ned.
You did.
But
yeah, he's...
Good podcast.
Yeah, he like walks down the red carpet in slow motion we're getting the like tail end of money going into Us and Them.
The slow-mo kicks in with the organs, which is very nice.
Yeah, it's a really somber end to the film over Us and Them, honestly, which plays out for the entire credits, with like the remainder of the crew like falling in the following day, like flanking around Steve and this nephew kid who's the newest member of the team. And they board the Belafonte, and then we get Pele like playing us out up on stage from the start of the film where the movie was premiering, and that's it.
So usually this would be Queen Bitch by David Bowie, and it would be like more chipper and upbeat, and like we're back on the track, but it's Us and Them, and it's just like sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. Having just that one change in soundtrack is so different, so massive. You know, much more. I felt a much greater sense of loss at the end of the movie on the Pink Floyd watch than I did on the original.
Yeah, that's why I delayed recorders. I just had to wander around my house feeling some feelings for a bit.
Oh, fair.
Oh. But did you notice at the very top of the Belafonte in the observation deck, a man in a pilot's uniform smoking a pipe?
I did not.
Watch out for that next time.
What? Who is this then? Is it... Who is
Well, it's never been confirmed, but I think it's Ned, but like the idea is that he's not actually there. They just wanted to have the whole cast in the last shot.
Oh, okay. Right.
So it's like a tribute to him, or...
His spirit is there.
I don't know. It reminds me of back in 2007 when two little high school boys named James Barron and Gareth Blackler made a film in the 48-hour film fest. And we killed off James Barron's character, but then forgot to check if he was in the background of shot, and the film ends with your character just having fun on a swing set.
Yeah, man. I'm vibing out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That film is not available online because it is deeply embarrassing.
Yes. Don't go looking for it, listeners. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We're not discussing how that film syncs with Pink Floyd, so we'll cut back to the show. What did you think? How did it sync, Gareth?
A sinking film is a lot like a crayon fish, you know? It's a beautiful thing, but then I'm a lot like Steve Zissou, like, the world's just too confusing for me to make sense of this.
Yeah.
But
you're but a humble man.
Yeah.
In a crazy world.
Definitely characters by characters synced. I think Steve wanted to sync, but had to accept that the world wouldn't sync with him. What's his name? Vladimir definitely synced. The Orca synced.
Yep.
Bill synced.
Yep.
Luckily, none of the boats synced.
Well, one did. The Hennessy did.
Yes. So thus, by that argument, Alistair synced.
He synced.
So that's a pretty good...
that's a lot.
How many characters have I got on my diagram? 13.
Yep.
And we've got...
That's 5 out of 13.
Okay. How does that translate into 10?
It's like 4-ish.
Okay,
4 out
well,
of
Ned
10.
synced as well.
The
We've gotta
amount
give it
of
to
the
him.
amount of Wes Anderson films that I've watched, 4 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess should we make it a 4 out of 10?
I feel like that's low.
Yeah, for the beauty of these syncs, eh?
Yeah, I want to flip it and go like at least 6. I feel like 6 out of 10 is a strong showing.
Yeah.
You know, above average.
Yeah. Let's make it a 7.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. You
know,
can't stop
bro.
us.
Yeah, what are you going to do? We've just talked about Life Aquatic
Yeah.
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You're going to fight us now?
Fight
We're
us.
so strong.
Catch me in the streets.
Yeah.
All right. 7
Our
out of 10.
jaws are so strong from talking about this movie.
Fucking A. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got the chiseled jaw. Yeah, man.
We're like Willem Dafoe.
We're looking like the buff Chads on that one meme, you know, with the like
Yeah.
the legs pointing in 2 different directions, but like massive jaws. That's us. And you're the not Chad weakling who questions our ranking system. Oh no.
In fact, all those people who gave this movie bad reviews are the not Chads. And
Fucking
we're
A.
the Chads, Pink Floyd.
So true.
Yeah.
Your hot takes versus our hot takes. All right.
Yeah.
There you go. 7 out of 10 for
Yes.
Life Aquatic by Steve Zissou, and featuring Steve Zissou. Cool. Mark it.
Cool.
Mark
On the
it.
graph.
All right. What are we doing next week? Got any plugs? What are we doing? We've got to wrap this,
Nothing to plug.
this Jaguar shark-sized podcast. We've got to wrap it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. If that's not in the review in the description on iTunes, then I've forgotten you said it.
Okay.
But yes, our next film, James, it's my choice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking a lot about the idea of the dark side of the moon. Like, because it's created by the sun is shining on a light side of the moon.
That's true.
So, really, the dark side of the moon is just a side of the moon that's entirely in shadow, right?
Yeah. A shadowed side.
A shadow side or a shadow realm or something. I want to know more about the shadow room on the dark side. Shadow realm?
Shadow room?
The shadow room is where I hang out to do my puppet shows.
Oh, yeah.
The shadow realm, you know, and who knows more about the shadow realm than our boy Yugi. So let's watch the Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
There's a Yu-Gi-Oh movie?
Yeah, man.
Oh my
I believe it's one of the lowest rated films on Rotten Tomatoes.
Fuck yes. I'm
Yes.
so ready to delve into
Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
good.
I've never felt more qualified to do a podcast. Okay.
Did you play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day?
Fuck
we'll get to
no.
it. Oh.
Absolutely not, but I'm so excited to talk about it
yes.
next week on the show. Look forward to that,
All
listeners.
right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh, well. Until then, I've been Gareth Blackler.
I've been James Barron as James Barron.
And gosh, check out Sync Floyd and all your favourite things. I've been plugging that we're Sync Floyd Pod on Letterboxd.
Oh,
We're actually Sync Floyd Podcast.
okay.
And I have to upgrade to a pro membership to change that. So
Well, there we go.
search for Sync Floyd Podcast.
We're Sync Floyd Pod everywhere else that matters.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, until then, we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon.